We all get it right. That like sinking feeling when you open the water bill.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like way more than you thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Well, today on this deep dive, we are looking at the hidden costs of using municipal water.
Right.
And we're also going to look at one potential solution that could let you take control of your water future.
Okay.
It's called the air fountain system.
Interesting.
So if you're interested in how this thing works and the pros and cons, and if it'll actually save you money,
right,
you're in the right place.
That's right. And I think it all starts with just understanding like how complex our current water system is.
Okay, so like paint me a picture.
Okay.
Like what's going on behind the scenes is driving up these costs.
Well, you turn on your tap and clean water comes out.
Yeah, it seems pretty easy.
Easy, right. But that ease comes with a really hefty price tag.
What?
Mostly due to aging infrastructure. Did you know that replacing just 1 mile of aging water main can cost $1 million?
What, $1 million just for 1 mile?
1 mile. Yeah.
That's crazy. No wonder these bills are going up.
Exactly. And then there's also the fact that up to 30% of that treated water is lost because of leaky pipes.
Oh, wow.
So we're essentially paying for water we don't even use.
That is so wasteful.
Yeah.
It sounds like a recipe for like financial and environmental disaster.
Yeah, it definitely raises some concerns about the long-term sustainability of our current model.
Yeah.
And that's where this air fountain system comes in. It offers a potential solution to both the financial and sustainability challenges.
Okay, so tell me more about this air fountain system.
Right.
Can we really get clean, drinkable water straight from the air?
Yes. And it's all based on a scientific process called atmospheric water generation.
Okay.
So basically, the system draws in ambient air and uses a cooling mechanism to condense the moisture.
Okay.
Much like how dew forms overnight.
So we're talking about creating our own personal water supply.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty futuristic.
It does, but the technology is here.
Wow.
And becoming more and more accessible every day.
Okay, but like how much water are we talking here? Can this system really meet the needs of like an average household?
So the amount of water produced really depends on a lot of factors, including like humidity levels in your area.
Okay.
But in ideal conditions, the air fountain system can generate enough water for drinking, cooking, and even showering.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
But isn't that water going to be full of like dust and pollutants?
That's a great question, and that's where the system's multi-stage filtration process comes in.
Okay.
So it's designed to remove impurities and make sure that that water meets the highest standards of purity.
Okay, so it's not just about collecting the water, it's about like making it safe to use.
Right.
So walk me through this filtration process a little bit more, like what makes it so effective?
Well, it starts with a pre-filter that removes larger particles like dust and insects.
Okay.
Then the air passes through an activated carbon filter to absorb any odors or gases.
Mm-hmm.
After that, it goes through a UV purification stage to eliminate bacteria and viruses.
So we're talking like multiple layers of protection to make sure that water is clean and drinkable.
Right.
It sounds like it's even more rigorous than like the municipal water treatment in some cases.
In many ways it is. And that level of control is another major benefit of the air fountain system.
Okay.
You're not relying on this potentially outdated public system.
Yeah.
You're in complete control of your water source.
I can definitely see the appeal of that, especially with everything we just talked about with the aging infrastructure.
Yeah.
And the potential contaminants in like the municipal water supplies.
Right.
This all sounds pretty high tech.
It is.
What kind of like maintenance is involved with this system?
It's actually less complicated than you might think. The main thing is to regularly change the filters.
Okay.
The frequency depends on your usage and air quality,
Mm-hmm.
but generally it's a pretty simple process you can do yourself.
So it's not completely hands-off,
Right.
but it doesn't sound overly burdensome either.
No, not at all.
But let's get to the bottom line. Can this air fountain system actually save people money?
That's what we'll be exploring in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay.
Because while the idea of never paying another water bill sounds really appealing,
Yeah.
we need to look at the numbers and see if it really adds up.
Looking forward to it. Okay, so we've established that this air fountain system is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it seems like it could be a way to get safe, clean drinking water.
Right. Just right out of the air.
Right from the air, exactly.
Well, let's talk about money.
Sure.
Can this thing really save me money?
That is the question, right?
Yeah.
And I think, like, with any investment, you really need to look at the numbers and see if it makes sense for you.
Okay, so walk me through it. Where do we even start?
I think first you'll want to look at the upfront cost of the system itself.
Okay.
And prices vary
Mm-hmm.
depending on like the model and capacity and all that.
Sure.
But you're typically looking at an investment of somewhere between $1,500 and $2,500. So that's a pretty significant chunk of change.
Yeah, it's not an impulse buy.
Definitely not.
But remember, we're talking about potentially like eliminating your water bill completely.
Yeah.
And depending on how much water you use now and how much you pay,
Right.
the savings could be really big.
Okay. I like where this is going.
Yeah.
So how do we like figure out if the savings are more than the upfront cost?
Okay, well, let's look at some average numbers here.
Right.
The source material says that homeowners could save somewhere between $600 and $1,200 a year.
Wait, so if I'm spending like $100 a month on water now,
Right.
this could like cut that in half.
Potentially, yeah.
Wow.
Or even more.
Or even more.
Of course, your actual savings will depend on your use,
Right.
but the potential is there.
Okay. But even with those savings, it's still going to take a couple of years to like make up for that first big cost.
Yeah, that's true. You're looking at a break-even point of about 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
But after that, you're basically getting free water for the life of the system.
Hold on, lifetime of the system. How long is that?
Yeah, so these systems are made to last.
Okay.
With like proper maintenance, you could expect an air fountain system to give you clean water for 10 years or more.
Okay, so if we factor in those potential lifetime savings,
Right.
we could be talking about a really good return on investment.
Absolutely. The source material says it could be anywhere from $15,000 to $30,000.
Wow. Okay. You got my attention.
Good.
But even if the money part is appealing, what about the practical side of it all?
Yeah, that's a big consideration.
Yeah.
Remember, this thing works by pulling moisture from the air.
Right.
So how well it works really depends on how humid it is where you live.
Okay, so if I live in like Arizona,
Right?
I might not get that much water out of it.
Yeah, exactly. In drier areas, it might not make enough water to cover all your needs.
So before I go buy one of these things,
Right.
I really need to do my research.
For sure.
See if it's a good fit for like where I live and how I live.
Exactly. It's not one size fits all.
Right.
But for a lot of people, especially those in more humid areas,
Mm-hmm.
it could be a game changer.
Okay, so let's say I've done my research and I live in a humid place
Right.
and I'm ready to take the plunge.
Yeah.
What's next?
Okay, well, the next step would be to find a qualified installer.
Okay.
They can look at your house, decide the best system for you,
Mm-hmm.
and handle the installation process.
So this isn't something I can just like buy at Home Depot and do myself.
Yeah, probably not a DIY project.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to flood my basement
Exactly.
trying to save a few bucks.
Yeah, it involves plumbing and electrical work.
Right.
So it's better to leave it to a professional.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But once it's all installed, what kind of maintenance are we talking about?
Mainly just changing filters,
Okay.
which you can usually do yourself. It's like changing the filter in your fridge
Okay.
or your air purifier.
So I don't have to call a technician every month or anything?
No, not at all. It's pretty low maintenance.
Okay, good.
But changing those filters is important to keep the system running, right?
All right.
And making sure you're getting clean, safe water.
Okay, so manageable maintenance,
Yeah.
potentially huge savings,
Yeah.
and you're in control of your own water.
Right.
It's starting to sound pretty good.
It is. And beyond those individual benefits,
Mm-hmm.
it's cool to think about the bigger implications of this technology.
Oh, right. We touched on this earlier.
Yeah.
What does water independence really mean on like a larger scale?
Well, imagine if more and more people were making their own water.
Okay.
It could really take the pressure off those big municipal water systems.
Okay.
So those resources could be used better.
So instead of relying on these huge old systems,
Right.
we're moving towards a more local way of doing things.
Exactly. A decentralized model.
Right.
And that shift could have big effects on sustainability and water security,
Okay.
especially with climate change and more people on the planet.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a whole new way of thinking about water.
It is.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And the air fountain system is just one example.
Right.
There's a whole wave of innovation happening.
Right,
It's
yeah.
really challenging the way things have always been done
Mm-hmm.
and moving us toward a more sustainable future.
This has been so interesting.
Good.
I'm already looking at my water bill differently.
That's the power of a good deep dive.
It is.
Exploring new ideas, you know?
Yeah.
Challenging assumptions,
Mhm.
expanding our understanding of the world around us.
So the air fountain system may not be perfect for everyone,
Right.
but it definitely makes you think about different ways to get water.
Absolutely. A conversation worth having.
For sure.
So before we wrap things up,
Okay.
there's one more thing we need to look at.
Oh, you got me on the edge of my seat. What is it?
Well, we've talked a lot about the air fountain system.
Yeah.
But It's important to remember that there are other technologies out there that might be even better for certain situations.
Okay, all ears. Tell me about these other water-saving wonders.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about those other water technologies.
Okay.
What else is out there that could help us be more water independent?
Well, one thing that's been getting really popular is rainwater harvesting.
Rainwater harvesting. Isn't that like kind of old school?
It might seem that way.
Like something our grandparents did?
Yeah, but modern rainwater harvesting systems are pretty high tech, actually.
Okay, I'm listening.
Basically, you collect rainwater from your roof and other surfaces.
Okay.
You filter it to get rid of any impurities, and then you store it.
So it's not just about putting a bucket out when it rains.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
We're talking special gutters and downspouts and storage tanks
Okay.
that can hold like thousands of gallons of water.
Thousands of gallons. Wow. What can you actually do with all that water?
Oh, it's really versatile. You can use it to water your garden,
Okay.
flush toilets, laundry, and even for drinking water if you filter and treat it right.
So you could potentially replace a lot of your water use with rainwater.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what about the environmental impact?
Oh, it's great for the environment too.
Okay.
It reduces runoff, which helps with flooding and erosion,
Okay.
and it helps recharge the groundwater aquifers.
So it's like a win-win for homeowners and the planet.
Exactly.
It sounds like something worth checking out.
Yeah.
What other water-saving things are out there?
Another interesting one is gray water recycling.
Gray water recycling. Okay, that's a new one for me.
Yeah.
What is gray water?
It's the gently used water from your sinks and showers and bathtubs.
Okay.
Instead of sending it down the drain, you can capture it, treat it, and use it for things that don't need drinking water.
So the water I use to wash my hands could water my plants.
Exactly.
That's wild.
It's a great way to save water.
Yeah.
And it takes some pressure off the sewer systems.
This is like changing the whole way we think about water.
It really is. And
Yeah.
the best part is these technologies aren't just for rich people or tech experts.
Okay.
They're getting more affordable and easier to get for regular homeowners.
It's great to know we have options.
Yeah.
We don't have to just deal with rising water bills in these old systems.
Exactly. The future of water is about innovation and taking control.
Yeah.
We can adapt and create our own water destinies.
This whole deep dive has been so eye-opening.
Good.
I'm already thinking about my water use differently.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
Sparking curiosity.
Yeah.
Giving people insights. Helping them make good decisions.
So what's the one big thing you want our listeners to remember?
Water is precious, right? It's essential for life. It's a resource we need to be smart about.
Yeah.
But the good news is we can make a difference.
Yeah.
Whether it's just using less water or trying out these new technologies, we can all help make a more sustainable water future.
That's a great message. And so to wrap things up,
Right?
we want all of you to keep exploring these water-saving solutions.
Yeah. Do your research.
Yeah.
Ask questions.
Yeah.
Be the change you want to see.
Who knows? Maybe you'll invent the next big thing in water technology.
That's right. The possibilities are endless.
Well, that's it for this deep dive.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of water independence.
It is my pleasure.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed,
And
and stay hydrated.
for sure.